how do you encourage victims to speak up because they are uncertain? How do you encourage them to share their experiences and to recognise the behaviours as well?
Yeah, I think this is community prevention advocacy, isn't it? That we as professionals can talk about it, which will give the space for victim survivors to acknowledge that this happens in our society. This is around domestic and family violence and sexual violence. So how do we always give the space? We always believe that we do it through a STEM-based approach. We do it through a risk assessment, looking at the signs and signals, and we also, where it is really more heightened. We also know by research and evaluation now that where it is prevalent, highest prevalence is for young people, for women who are pregnant, and for that first 3 months of leading the relationship. So, and we talk about that all the time, and it is saying, let's unpack, and we're walking alongside that victim survivor, saying, whether you believe, whether you think this is crazy, let's see. And it's really, as soon as we do a text week, or as soon as we acknowledge that, yes, this is a type of stalking, then we then support that. And so I think it is around about our community of understanding what stalking is and stalking is about.
Let's say I'm being stalked and I've summoned the courage to go to the police station. I make my report. I think I've got some evidence for you. What happens then? What happens when you go into a police station and make a report?
Sure. Well, the first thing is that we need to find out from the person what it is they've been experiencing. We need enough of an account to be able to work out at least a sense of what's happening. And our first priority is to make sure that people are not only feeling safe, but they actually are as safe as we can possibly make them. And in terms of what does that look like, well, it very much depends on the person's individual circumstances and who they are, where they are, what they're experiencing. But that's why understanding what they're experiencing is really important. So first thing is making sure that they're safe, and then what we will start to do is elicit from them the details. And we have to make a decision around whether or not, at least on face value, has an offence been committed. Because if it hasn't, if there's either not sufficient to satisfy a prosecution, then in a way it makes it very difficult for us to proceed. Having said that, part of our job is to investigate, right? So we need to investigate what's happened, but at the very least we just need that, let's use a legal term, prima facie sense that it is likely that their offence has been committed. Once we get that sense, we will conduct an investigation and then see where it goes from there. And not just keeping the person safe, but also being able to work with them to conduct the investigation. And if we get to a point of prosecution, again, that engagement with the reporting person is really important for us, both in terms of successful prosecution, but also continuing to make sure that they are safe.
At Crime Stoppers, we know the importance of information coming through. We know just how important evidence is to police when you're investigating a matter. When it comes to stalking, what does evidence mean? When should people start collecting it, and what is it that they should collect? Yeah,
great question. Thanks, Stella. So evidence is everything. If in order for us to prosecute an offence, it's almost a no-brainer, but not everybody understands that we need sufficient admissible evidence, and there's actually a distinction between evidence being sufficient and then being admissible. We need as much of that as we can because, as has been described, stalking can sometimes be difficult to make out. Elements of it are what is in the person's head, and unless the person is prepared to tell us what's in their head, we have to come up with that evidence through other means. And often the best evidence gathering sources are the person or people who are experiencing the stalking behaviour. So what we say to people is it is never too early to start gathering that evidence, and it could be as simple as a note in a diary. It could be as simple relatively these days as taking a screenshot of text messages on your phone. It could be as simple as sharing some information with a friend and asking a friend to record it. As we've heard, stalking takes a very technological form these days, and so there's a myriad of ways of recording our experience of what we experience through technology. We really ask people to, even if they are unsure whether what they're experiencing is stalking or not, if in doubt, make a note, save that screenshot, keep that record, because as time goes by, as this conduct is repeated, the build-up of that evidence over time is actually really compelling in the judicial system. So it just enables us to present a much better case for both what people are experiencing, but it actually helps show what we refer to in the legal realm as mens rea, right? A person's intent. If we have that evidence picture over a period of time, it starts to paint a very compelling picture of what the person was thinking. Or even if we can't prove that, it enables us to show that they should have known the effect that their behaviour would have on that person. In terms of protection, so if the stalking is so if someone has committed stalking offences, then part of our role is to hold people accountable for that behaviour, and that's what we will do. We will investigate, we will arrest, we will prosecute if there's sufficient evidence to do so. So that's on us, and that's something that we focus on very strongly. And so part of the protection, in as much as it can be provided, is afforded or can be afforded through that process. If it's family violence related stalking, then there are family violence intervention orders, which can also be put in place either on their own or to complement other processes through the criminal justice system. Or if the stalking behaviour is not family violence related, there is still a process through the civil jurisdiction of the Magistrates Court to apply for a personal safety intervention order, which provides pretty much the same protection provisions as a family violence related intervention order. So there are some of the protections.